Hello big fellow. To study living organisms systematically, biologists have divided them in various groups, on the basis of certain criteria that help us to differentiate between them. Whittaker's five-kingdom classification is a system of classifying living organisms that was proposed by Robert H. Whittaker in 1969. It is based on these criteria. Cell structure. Organisms are classified as prokaryotes, or eukaryotes, depending on whether their cells have a nucleus. Mode of nutrition. Organisms are classified as autotrophs, or heterotrophs, depending on whether they can produce their own food, or must consume other organisms for food. Reproduction. Organisms are classified as asexual or sexual, depending on how they reproduce. Organization of cells. Organisms are classified as unicellular, or multicellular, depending on whether they are composed of one cell, or many cells. The five kingdoms in Whittaker's system are: Kingdom Monera. This kingdom includes all prokaryotic organisms, such as bacteria and archaea. Kingdom Protista. This kingdom includes all eukaryotic organisms that are not plants, animals, or fungi. This includes protozoans, algae, and slime molds. Kingdom Fungi. This kingdom includes all eukaryotic organisms that are heterotrophic and have cell walls made of chitin. This includes mushrooms, molds, and yeasts. Kingdom Plantae. This kingdom includes all eukaryotic organisms that are autotrophic and have cell walls made of cellulose. This includes algae, mosses, ferns, flowering plants, and trees. Did you notice? Earlier we said algae belongs to Kingdom Protista, now we are saying it belongs to Plantae. That's because it is an arguable topic. Some biologists say it should be in Protista, where others approached it differently. We will discuss about it in another video. Anyway, let's move on. Kingdom Animalia. This kingdom includes all eukaryotic organisms that are heterotrophic and do not have cell walls. This includes animals from sponges to humans. There is a reason why you will find this classification in most textbooks. This classification is hierarchical. The five kingdoms are arranged in a hierarchy, with each kingdom containing smaller groups of organisms. This makes it easier to see the relationships between different groups of organisms. It is also flexible. The five kingdoms can be modified to reflect new scientific discoveries. For example, the kingdom Monera was divided into two kingdoms, bacteria and archaea, after it was discovered that these two groups of organisms are more different than previously thought. However, it is important to note that Whittaker's five-kingdom classification system have its own limitations. The kingdom Protista is often considered to be too diverse and should be divided into several smaller kingdoms. It is not as accurate as some newer classification systems, such as Woese's three-domain classification system. Carl Woese's three-domain classification system is another system of classifying living organisms that was proposed in 1990. It is based on some different criteria. The first criteria is 16S ribosomal RNA gene sequence. This gene is present in all living organisms and is used to translate RNA into protein. Woese found that there were significant differences in the 16S rRNA gene sequences of bacteria, archaea, and eukaryotes. Number 2. Cell membrane composition. Archaea and bacteria have cell membranes that are made of different lipids than the cell membranes of eukaryotes. And finally, sensitivity to antibiotics. Archaea are not sensitive to many antibiotics that are effective against bacteria. The three domains in Woese's system are: Domain Archaea. Archaea are prokaryotic organisms that are distinct from bacteria. They have different cell structures, cell membranes, and metabolisms than bacteria. Domain Bacteria. This domain includes all bacteria. Bacteria are prokaryotic organisms that are more closely related to archaea than to eukaryotes. They have different cell structures and cell membranes than eukaryotes, but their metabolisms are more similar to those of eukaryotes. Domain Eukarya. This domain includes all eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are organisms that have cells with a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. They are more complex than prokaryotes and include plants, animals, fungi, and protists. Woese's three-domain classification system is useful for a number of reasons. It is more accurate than Whittaker's five-kingdom classification system because it is based on more molecular data. This data provides a better understanding of the evolutionary relationships between different groups of organisms. This system is more informative than Whittaker's five-kingdom classification system because it provides more detail about the different groups of organisms. Woese's three-domain classification system better reflects the evolutionary relationships between different groups of organisms than Whittaker's five-kingdom classification system. Let's see how it helped modern biologists. Woese's system helped to clarify the relationships between bacteria and archaea. Previously, these two groups of organisms were thought to be closely related, but Woese's system showed that they are actually more distantly related than previously thought. Woese's system helped to identify new groups of organisms. For example, this system identified a new group of organisms called the Archaeoglobi, which are extremophiles that live in hot springs and other extreme environments. This system has helped to improve our understanding of the evolution of life on Earth. For example, Woese's system showed that the last common ancestor of all living organisms was a prokaryotic organism, which lived over 3.5 billion years ago. In conclusion, Woese's three-domain classification system has been widely accepted by biologists. It is a more accurate and informative system than the older five-kingdom classification system. It also provides a better understanding of the evolutionary relationships between different groups of organisms. Here is a table that summarizes the differences between Whittaker's five-kingdom classification system and Woese's three-domain classification system. Subscribe for more microbiology-related informative videos. Signing off, Microbiology-ish.